What's going on, everyone? It's Terry Julian in here following up on Nvidia, which is now above $500 a share. I made a video telling you guys that you needed to be in this stock and that we are setting up for a $500 plus Nvidia trade. And it happened. So if you made money, congratulations. If you didn't, why didn't you take the trade? It was the most obvious trade on the market going into the new year. But hey, there's always another time, and there's going to be always more money to be made in Nvidia. I'm going to show you that in today's episode. So let's go ahead and, get our support and resistance together on Nvidia. First thing we do is we want to go into a smaller time frame. I like the hourly chart, and that's going to be able to give us an idea of where support and resistance is here. So we take our horizontal lines, and we're of course going to mark our most recent resistance. Let's go ahead and change the color of that, by the way, too. Let's go back to the green. All right, some support here. Of course, where the gap down began. Some support here as well, or some previous resistance that became support later on there. And I'm going to show you why we're going to use these time frames, this particular time frame here, because it does such a good job of translating into a higher time frame. So this is kind of where we are here. 360s, 390, 437, 480, 505, and of course where we are now, which is the new high for Nvidia. We've never been at these prices before, but what I can tell you is that we're eventually going to touch one of these bars here as the stock comes to look for what was previous resistance in order to test what should be now support for Nvidia. So now let's go ahead and move up to those higher time frames, and we're going to move up to the daily time frame. And as you can see how it beautifully translates into where support and resistance should be on a daily time frame. So we already know that Nvidia is up, well up over the 10 moving average on the monthly chart. We know that we're above the 50 and the 100 moving average. So we know that the stock is trending higher. We know that. So, what position would you want to look for to go into Nvidia if you were going into it for the first time? Well, I'll tell you this right now. Let's put up the Keltner channels here on this daily time frame, and we're well above that top bar on the Keltner channel. So honestly, I wouldn't go into Nvidia here because you're buying really high. Now, here's the thing. That doesn't mean that it can't continue to rally for another day or two, right? But I eventually believe that Nvidia will eventually work its way back down, at least towards this middle area here of the Keltner channel, because that's where we want to buy. That's where the smart place to be to get in on this play. Now, I don't want to wait, right? For those guys who don't want to market time, and it's smart to not market time, and you're willing to take, a possible strong red day or two in the stock, I'll be more than happy to show you what kind of position you're going to be wanting to take here. So for those guys who just can't afford to wait, let's go ahead and put up the 50 and 100 EMA on Nvidia, and let's go ahead and take those Keltner channels out. So we see that the 50 and 100 right now, 475 on the 50, 456 on the 100 EMA. And as you can see, they've held very nicely going all the way back to April of last year. So this is kind of where I want to be with my price action. If I'm going to own an options play on Nvidia, I'm not going to want to be anywhere above the 50 or 100, because where has price action been? Mostly above that level, right? So we're not going to want to play around with having strikes above that level, because we could very well get touched. But as you can see here, beneath those levels, we're rarely getting touched as the market continues to be a blessing for this particular stock. So excuse me, ignoring a potential comeback, let's go ahead and set up what the future could possibly be here with a trade in Nvidia. So we're going to pull up Nvidia here, and we're going to take a look again. As I mentioned earlier, we want to be below the 50 and the 100 EMA. So we know that the 50 was at 475, so I know I want to be below 475. In a stock like this, I don't want to be too low because I want my risk reward to still make sense, but at the same time, I want to be far enough from the price action that, a few red days doesn't kill me, right? And I still make money over the long term. So we're going to go out about 66 days out here because I don't plan to spend the whole 66 days, of course, in the trade, because I do believe that this stock will continue to go higher and I'll be able to get very close to max gain well within the first 30 to 35 days, honestly, in this particular option play. So let's go ahead and set this up. And I'm going to go here at these 430s. So I'm going to go ahead and sell the 430, and I'm going to buy these 420s. All right. And this is called a bull call spread. And what we're saying here is that we're just selling a call and buying a call because we believe that Nvidia is going to go up in the near future, even protecting ourselves in case Nvidia comes down. So let's go ahead and look at what this trade looks like. So this trade basically says, and again, this is a dummy account here. I no longer trade with Tasty Trade, but I use this to, let you guys know what exactly it looks like to take these trades. Right? So we're going to sell the 430 against the 420, right? We're going to risk $875 to make $125 on this trade. And I'm going to show you why this makes sense using my Terry Julian money in the bag calculator here. So let's go ahead and pull up the calculator here. Bring that back up. All right, and show you how this makes sense. All right, so the current price is $522. Our strike price is $430, right? Because we're selling the 430. The option, let's say we're going to take the middle, which is going to be about $103, right? So with the current setup we have here, our current, requirements to be in the money on this trade is that Nvidia needs to move up 2.1% for us to be in the money. So immediately to start making money on this trade, Nvidia needs to move up about 2.1%. Now, if we were to hold till expiration, we would still make max gain, or the whole entire $125, as long as Nvidia stays 19.33% from this 430. So as long as Nvidia stays above 430, right, which is a protection from its current price to this of 19.3%, we're going to go ahead and make money on this trade, right? Do you expect Nvidia to decline nearly 20% over the next 66 days? I don't. So this is a trade I would definitely take, as again, it requires less than a 3% move for us to be in the money, and again, protecting us by over 20% on the downside. And with that, let's do some math a little bit on, what our risk reward here is, because that's going to be a conversation I'm sure you're looking at. You're saying, damn, well, $875 to make $125, but folks, that makes a lot of sense here. So let's do 125 times, actually, nope, it's divided by 875. Oh, shoot, what am I doing? 125 divided by 875. There he goes. All right, so we're going to be making 14% on our money on this trade, right? So 14% return on investment on a stock that has a probability of, in the money, almost 80%. 80% probability, right? 80% probability, to make 14% on your money within 66 days. Understand, no bank is going to give you that kind of return, but options does. And that's why this makes a really great call for you to take in the future, right? So this is something I would take immediately. I already have positions like this set up in Nvidia, and I'll just do this over and over and over again. And you're saying, Sal, okay, what if it immediately doesn't work for me? Well, the only time I would turn off this trade is if we see a decline of almost 25% in the option, right? So not in the stock, but in the option. If the option declines 25% while I'm in the trade, anywhere between 25 to 33%, I'm out, because that means something is wrong, right? Something is clearly wrong there. I'm not going to wait until it declines 15 or 20% as our protection is. I'm going to get out of the stock if we see a 25 to 33% decline in the option, right in your brokerage account. So it's your boy Sal, Terry Julian from now on. If you like this trade, take this trade. But this is kind of what you need to learn how to do to continue to make money in the stock market. I really hope you've enjoyed this video and learned something. We're on to the next one, baby.